A very good evening and welcome to this Sunday's edition of News First Weekend, coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudannaikar. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Former Army Commander Mahesh Senanayake enters the presidential race as the candidate of the National People's Movement. UNP presidential candidate Sajid says ready to leave office at the right time, just as he waited for the right time to receive candidacy. UNP also invites SLFP for discussions. Post-mortem reveals poisoning as the cause of death of the wild elephants in Habarana.
And now the stories in detail. Former Army Commander General Mahesh Senanayake was nominated as a presidential candidate of the National People's Movement.
An event was held at the Sugatadasa Indoor Stadium to announce the presidential candidate of the National People's Movement representing the civil society. More than 30 civil society organizations, civil activists and intellectuals have joined the National People's Movement. General Secretary of the Sarvodaya Movement, Dr. Vinyare Ratna, former Auditor General Gamini Vijayasinghe, Nagahananda Kodituakku, former Director of State Intelligence Dr. Ajit Rohana Kolanna, Attorney at Law Krishmal Vanasuriya and other experts were part of this movement. Former Commander of the Army Mahesh Senanayake was named as the candidate and escorted to the stage by former Auditor General Gamini Vijayasinghe and former Director of State Intelligence Service Dr. Ajit Rohana Kolanna. During the past month, a number of proposals and ideas came my way to be framed in the current political situation to receive various positions and riches and to provide my service. There I decided that I am not a person that should go along with these traditional political fractions. Can I, as the former commander of the army, tell the future generation that this country is unsafe? To tell them that this country has no future and that you should not stay in this country anymore. Myself and your mother will stay in this country, but you better go abroad. International superpowers know the importance of this country. That is why at present this country is an important place for them. What should we as a country do in such a time? We should follow a non-aligned policy. I would like to remind to you all that we should not repeat the same mistake of selling our nation to foreign powers. Who is with me at this moment? I have no thieves who join me, no one who is connected to corruption. The only people who are present here are those who love this nation. So I feel the power I have. Along this journey, we should change age-old impractical constitutions. Things have already been prepared to do this. Here I state that this group will implement the same law in the whole nation. That can only be done by such an independent leader. Our military is powerful. The reason why the power of this military cannot be properly used is because political leaders are responsible for every crime that happens in this country. A majority contributes to protecting these criminals. I bear witness to it. At this moment, I would like to say no matter what threat comes my way, even if my life is threatened, I am here to fulfill your requirements. Until your requirements are fulfilled, I will be the temporary independent leader of the alternative force. At present, the only thing that can be seen in this country are the cries of the uneducated people. Today, we begin the uprise of the educated in this country.
නමුත් අද අප එකතු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ අපි අද ආරම්භ කළේ මේ රටේ උගතුන්ගේ නැගී සිටීමක්.
An old boy of Ananda College, Colombo, Mahesh Senanayake joined the army on the 16th of October 1981. He was appointed as the commander of the army on the 4th of July 2017 and retired on the 20th of September 2019 after completing more than 4 decades of service in the army. Prior to his appointment as commander of the army, General Senanayake was a renowned officer serving the nation as Secretary of War, Commander Security Forces Jaffna, and Director of Planning. Former Army Commander Mahesh Senanayake, for his service towards the nation, was awarded with Rana Vikrama, Rana Shura, Vishishta Seva Vibhushana and Uttama Seva awards. He holds a degree in civil engineering from Jawaharlal Nehru University in India. He is also a graduate of the American College of Command and Staff.
The Kurunegala District Convention of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party was held in Hettipola today.
The Kurunegala Convention under the theme Thiranaya Hariyatata was held today under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena.
Today Mahinda Rajapaksa is the opposition leader not because of the Pohottua. He became the opposition leader because of the letter sent by the General Secretary of the SLFP and the UPFA to the Speaker of Parliament, stating that Mahinda Rajapaksa is a parliamentarian of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Today, why are all of those parliamentarians from the Pohottua who speak against us still in Parliament? When I dissolved Parliament and they obtained membership of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, the very next day, the Speaker asked me, are they members of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party? We saved their seat in Parliament through a letter. Why am I saying this? It is not a secret that the Pohottua party has been conducting discussions with us for the past 2 months to form an alliance. Yesterday in the morning, Mahinda Rajapaksa, Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Basil Rajapaksa held discussions with me at the Presidential Secretariat on the background of forming this alliance. I told them the stance of our Central Working Committee. I told them the stance of our parliamentary group, the stance of our Pradeshia Sabha members. I also told them about the stance of the village supporters of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. I told them that we can support a national program that is formulated together, but we cannot vote for the Pohottua symbol. I asked them to agree to a common symbol that we can unite. Why did I tell you everything regarding the way we helped them, saving their parliamentary seats and appointing them as opposition leader and prime minister? After all of these things that we have done for them, the Pohottua must be flexible to a proposal made by us if we are to form an alliance. If they are not flexible, what will happen to your future as party supporters? What will happen to the future of our 1,300 Pradeshia Sabha members? What will be the future of the policies and vision of the party? What is the future of the parliamentary group? So we need a flexible policy that will safeguard the identity and integrity of the party as well as the policy of the party and party supporters. If this happens, we can unite. The UNP is also calling us for discussions. We are holding discussions with the SLPP on the other side. They are not showing any flexibility. We did not impose any conditions. There was only one condition, but even that is not a condition. We asked them for a common symbol for our SLFP supporters to vote for, but they did not agree to that. We still did not panic. We could have gone and done something else. We did not do that either. Why was that? Because the country has asked for a force against this UNP government. We will strengthen that movement. That is what we want. Therefore, we will not consider these personal issues, but we know that they will attack us. Knowing that, we will strengthen the party and continue to move forward.
Parallel to the presidential election, the UNP has organized a series of board meetings.
Colonna Electorate organizer S.M. Marikar organized a special electoral council meeting in support of UNP's presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa with the participation of several ministers and parliamentarians. I would like to express my appreciation to Sajith Premadasa for holding the first public rally after being nominated here in Colonna. I would also like to say this when Sajith is here. We have not played double games in the run-up to making Sajith Premadasa the presidential candidate. We stood straight. They said that we will be removed from our positions. We were not afraid. We did that on behalf of the people of Colonna.
අපේ සංවිධායකයන් නැති කරනවා කිව්වා ඒත් අපි බය වුන්නේ නැහැ. කෙලින් හිටියා. ඒ මෙනම කොටවත් නෙමෙයි කොළොන්නාව ජනතාව වෙනුවෙන් කියන එක මම කියන්න කැමතියි.
එළඹෙන ජනාධිපතිවරණ ජයග්‍රහණයෙන් පසුව අපි ජාතික
After the presidential election victory, we hope to carry out a governance system aimed at national goals. There are 5-year plans as well as 10-year plans. There are annual objectives in these short-term and long-term plans. There are monthly plans and weekly objectives. There will be discipline in achieving these objectives. It will be an effective governance system. It will be a strong governance system. We will carry out a new program. We will have a new vision. We must create social democracy where the resources will be distributed equally. We have been discussing about the economic growth rate for many years. We have been speaking about national income. We have been speaking about per capita income. But when you observe closely, there are disparities in wealth and resource distribution. They say that the per capita income reached $4,000. They created a myth. It is easy to rule a country based on an artificial sense of happiness. We must look at this situation at the ground level. You can be speaking to the people about GDP, but you must look at the happiness index of the people. We cannot see that they are very happy. We cannot see that they are happy. We must create a ladder for the general populace to go up from their current situation. Remember, Sajith Premadasa does not carry out political deception. The only politics Sajith Premadasa is carrying out is to develop the motherland.
අති විශිෂ්ට සංවර්ධනයකට යොමු කිරීමයි කියන එක මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
Meanwhile, United National Party special Balamandala meeting was held at Alpitia today.
Presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa and several ministers and MPs participated in the meeting organised by the Alpitia organiser, Minister Gayantha Karunatilaka. We have now put forward the candidate that the people were waiting for despite party differences. Any person can approach this leader and embrace him with affection. He is the candidate that anyone can accept as a brother. He is the candidate that suits anyone in this country, be it a person from the village, the city, a person who knows the heart of the poor man. He is a candidate who can easily win if he contested from Colombo, but he went to the poor people in the region of the Rajapaksas, to Hambantota. We have now got him as our presidential candidate. I make a humble request. Give Sajith Premadasa this opportunity. I will not cling on to these positions. When Sajith Premadasa's term ends, that will be the end. I am not a man who will hand over this country to the Premadasa family or the Premadasa regime like that. I knew the right time to come forward, and I know the right time to step down. I have no fear of taking up positions, but when the time comes for me to leave, I will leave with my head held high.
The party convention of the Lanka Samasamaja Party was held in Colombo today. The motion to support the presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, was passed at the convention.
The convention was held at the Sri Lanka Exhibition and Convention Centre. The event was attended by Tissa Vitarana, the General Secretary of the Lanka Samasamaja Party, and other representatives of parties who support the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. Tissa Vitarana also presented the party proposals to Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Today, the sovereignty and the freedom this country enjoys is being lost. Strategic economic locations are being sold off to foreign countries. Under our government, we will first ensure that the sovereignty of our country is protected. Our country's non-aligned policy has been destroyed due to the interventions by various powerful nations. Our economic policy is one that is close to the hearts of the people and centered around the people. That did not only defeat terrorism, but it did not allow terrorism to raise its head again. After ending terrorism, we were able to rehabilitate and reintegrate 13,000 people who surrendered to the forces. About 5,000 cadres who were arrested have also been rehabilitated and reintegrated into society. By the end of 2014, there were only 274 left. We provided employment to them under the Civil Defence Force. We released about 90% of the lands that were under the control of the LTTE cadres and the Sri Lanka Army back to the people. We gave them that right. No matter what the politicians in those areas say, these were done during the time of our government. If these people are evading their responsibilities and giving various excuses, that shows that they cannot work. But we were able to work. We showed how it can be done. We have plans to save the country from the economic situation that we are in. We have a team that can implement that plan as well.
අපිට ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්නට පුළුවන් කණ්ඩායමකුත් ඉන්නවා. එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂ ආණ්ඩුව මේ
We know about the services rendered by the UNP government during this 4-year period. They served themselves. They threw the people into an abyss. Not only Ranil Wickremesinghe but everyone who was a part of this government should be held responsible for the central bank bond scam. What has happened today? They made plans to sell off the country's assets and land. We cannot forget that all of this was done by the United National Party. They always misuse the word democracy. According to what the Solicitor General said, Ranil Wickremesinghe has been working towards filing cases even when nothing wrong had happened. These officials are coming out and making these statements. I think she had to resign from her position. She has been interdicted. One by one these things are coming out. More details will come out in the future.
අද එකින් එක එළියට එනවා. තා ඉස්සරහට එළියට ඒවි. ආණ්ඩුව කරපු උදවිය කරන වැඩ ගැන. ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොදුජන පෙරමුණ ජනාධිපති
General Secretary of the JVP, Tilwin Silva, expressed these views while attending the opening ceremony of the party's main office in the Hambantota district.
What has happened since the day Gotabaya Rajapaksa was announced? They continue to hide their candidate. He doesn't come before the media, other than when he visits a temple and gives a small voice cut when he leaves. He is not sent before the media. When you ask 2 questions from him, he loses his temper. Somebody has to always hold the hand of Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Sometimes it is Chamal or Namal, or at least Shiranti has to go with him. You have to answer the questions raised by the media because we have a lot of questions to ask him. One of the main questions is, if he loves the country so much, why did he leave the military and go to America in 93 and 94 when the war with the LTT was at its peak? A military officer cannot just leave the military. He must show some weakness in him that prevents him from serving in the army any longer. How can a sick person who cannot serve in the military now take over a country? If he loves the country so much and considers it his motherland, why did he obtain citizenship in America? He must answer that. What do we want now? We do not have any ulterior motive. We are here to win. So we believe that it is the duty of the general public to help us win.
UNP MP Tushar Indrayal said that he will warmly welcome the opposition parties that will support the UNP presidential candidate.
In politics, there are no permanent enemies and there are no permanent friends. Each day there are different types of people around Minister Sajid Premadasa. Not only Dayasiri Jayasekara, there are many more people to join us and there is no problem about that. If anyone wants to join our stage, we will wholeheartedly welcome them.
Speaker Karu Jayasuriya visited the Sobita Hemi village in Anuradhapura to celebrate his 79th birthday today.
Speaker Karu Jayasuriya celebrated his birthday along with his family and with the children in the Sobita Hemi village. Dry rations were distributed among the villagers to mark his birthday. Speaker Karu Jayasuriya then engaged in religious observances at the Sobita Viharaya in Anuradhapura. He also gave alms to the monks of the Sobita Viharaya.
News: trade union actions initiated by several state sector trade unions are ongoing. Economic specialists point out that these trade union actions have an adverse effect on the country's economy and they slow down the economic growth of the country.
The Railway Department has decided to call in retired employees in order to bring the train services back to normal. 20 retired employees have been called in so far, and the Railways Department says that measures will be taken to deploy these workers and bring the train services back to normal. Meanwhile, a special discussion will be held between railway trade unions on strike and Minister of Finance Mangala Samaravida tomorrow. All special trains that were scheduled for this weekend were cancelled due to the strike action. It has been 4 days since the trade union action by the railway employees was initiated based on salary anomalies. It has been 20 days since the non-academic staff of universities started a trade union action based on salary anomalies. As a result, weekend classes at universities were cancelled today as well. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Higher Education says that it is formulating a cabinet paper requesting reassessing of salary anomalies of non-academic staff of the university system. Secretary to the Ministry MMPK Mayaduna said that the cabinet paper in question will be directed to the cabinet to the subject minister on Tuesday. The trade union action initiated by executive officers of the state sector based on salary anomalies too is ongoing. Executives from various professions including engineering, Ayurveda medicine, planning, agriculture, education administration, technical education, income tax and veterinary care are taking part in the trade union action. With the election being announced, there seems to be an increase in the number of protests as well. With the protests that are being carried out today, we set a precedent for the future saying, this is how we settle our problems. This is a sign of slow development. We are at a very weak position with regard to economic growth in comparison to other countries in the region. I think by carrying out protests like this, we are also contributing to the economic downfall. These people have accepted these appointments to serve the public. Now they take the lives of the public hostage to make their demands. These government servants who think only about themselves should be dragged onto the streets and beaten. They live thanks to our tax money. They carry out strike actions holding us as hostages. If possible, carry out strikes for the public's rights. People who strive to earn their ends meet after paying taxes cannot even go home peacefully after a hard day's work because the railway system is on strike. Hospitals are on strike. Even the children are affected by the strike. The entire country is stagnant. I would like to ask the general public to rise against those who oppress the general public in an unfair manner.
According to wildlife officials, the poisoning of the food or water sources had caused the death of the 6 cow elephants in the Timbukkulama Reserve in Hiruwaduna, Digampatana, Habarana. Meanwhile, an operation was conducted in the Timbukkulama Forest Reserve today.
Wildlife officers, the army, together with the area residents, conducted these operations in the Tumbikulama Reserve today. 10 teams were assigned for this. The teams entered the reserve from Mastana, Kakirawa, Palugaswava and Digampatana in Tumbikulama. The post-mortem examinations of the 4 elephants were conducted yesterday and the day before, while the post-mortem examinations of the remaining 3 elephants were conducted today. The post-mortem examinations were headed by the Wildlife Department's veterinary officer in charge of the Anuradhapura zone, Chandana Jayasinghe. The post-mortem examinations conducted today revealed that the wild elephants had died due to poisoning. According to the Wildlife Department's veterinary officer in charge of the Anuradhapura zone, Chandana Jayasinghe, 6 female elephants and 1 male elephant had passed away. These elephants had consumed plants in the forest. We are examining as to if some grass material they ate had become toxic. We have sent samples to the laboratories. We did not see any bullet wounds on the bodies of these elephants. These elephants have been eating well, and this has happened suddenly. It seems as if some poison that entered their body had immediately killed them. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Wildlife has informed the Director General of Wildlife, Chandana Surya Bandara, to provide a report on the death of 6 female elephants to the ministry tomorrow.
You're with News First, and up next is a look at Action TV.
Although the CEB called for tenders for the purchase of 100 megawatts under the label of supplementary electrical power, the minister annulled it. However, in March, the CEB, in addition to purchasing 100 megawatts of power, also entered into an agreement in violation of the Sri Lanka Electricity Act for the purchase of 71 megawatts throughout the course of 2 years with 2 private power suppliers. Afterwards, the CEB informed the ministry of the requirement of an additional 470 megawatts of electricity following a meeting held on the 11th of April. A letter pertaining to the matter was submitted to the Cabinet of Ministers by the subject minister. The letter sent by the ambassador of Turkey states that a total of 200 megawatts can be supplied by a Turkish company to address the power shortage in the country. As per the letter, the subject minister took steps to submit a cabinet paper on the matter in April itself. The media spokesperson of the ministry, speaking to Action TV, justified the need to implement this proposal. We received a proposal from the ambassador of Turkey. We call these proposals unsolicited proposals. When we receive a proposal like this, we evaluate it given the current situation in the country. The government has identified an emergency need due to the current shortage of power in the grid. The letter sent by the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka to the Ceylon Electricity Board, dated the 20th of September, proves that the purported shortage in power was a creation of the government. Although cabinet approval was granted for the purchase of 200 megawatts from this Turkish company, the PUCSL had refused to grant the transmission permit to the CEB for the said purchase of power. The fact that the purchase in question was against the Sri Lanka Electricity Act and the fact that there is no real power shortage in the country were cited as the reasons for the rejection of the permit. Action TV made revelations on a number of occasions, including yesterday, of attempts made by the CEB and the Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy to purchase power at exorbitant prices in violation of the provisions of the Sri Lanka Electricity Act at a time when there is no shortage of electricity in the country. They plan on constructing the fourth power plant in Norochole as a project under the CEB. A letter submitted by the minister regarding this project is an exaggeration that is far from the truth. In the letter, the minister states that coal power production is cheaper after only taking into account the cost of coal. The minister is brushing under the carpet the fact that the Norochole project, which already has 3 active power plants, has become a threat to the environment. According to the latest report of the Industrial Technology Institute, the air pollution caused by the Norochole power plant has reached critical levels. It should be noted that the report includes figures of air pollution obtained at a time when only 1 out of the 3 power plants at Norochole were operational. To preserve the environment at Norochole, the power production by 2 of the power plants that can be added to the national grid stands at 380 megawatts and not 600 megawatts. At a time when Norochole has become the symbol of environmental pollution and an example of what a badly failing project could be, can the CEB's attempts to construct a 4th power plant in the region through a direct loan from China be dubbed as a solution to the power shortage in Sri Lanka? Or is it a damaging blow on the national economy? Secretary to the President, this is over to you.
The boys' schools final of the inter-school Shakespeare drama competition is currently underway at the Bishop's College Auditorium. St. Joseph's College Colombo, Trinity College Kandy, Ananda College Colombo and Wesley College Colombo are performing today. The girls' finals of the 46th All-Ireland Inter-School Shakespeare Drama Competition was held at the Bishop's College Auditorium last Friday. The competition is organised annually by the Colombo YMCA and the Rotary Club of Colombo North.
The finals commenced with Museus College performing an extract from Twelfth Night. Second in the evening was the defending champions Bishop's College with their rendition of Romeo and Juliet, which portrayed the latter events of the play. Soon after the intermission, it was Devi Balika Vidyalaya who took the stage with their adaptation of A Much Ado About Nothing, which had a strong ensemble approach to the comedy. Holy Family Convent of Bambalapitiya also performed an extract from A Much Ado About Nothing to conclude the performances of the evening. Holy Family Convent Bambalapitiya was the third runner-up in this year's competition. Museus College was placed second runner-up. Devi Balika was placed runners-up in the competition. The play was jointly directed by Vishan Gunawardhana and Litmal Jayawardhana. Defending their title, Bishop's College was awarded as the champions of the 46th All-Ireland Girls Inter-School Shakespeare